I appreciate you. Happy New Year to you.
Sir, same to you. I hope the holidays were joyous and blessed to you and yours.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you.
They're always a good time. And you know what? Again, I live in the present and see what's down the road. But, in spite of all the challenges, my friend, these are the kind of holidays, if I could, if you said, Munch, this is the Wednesday before Christmas, the 23rd, I would rewind this year. That's how much I've enjoyed them.
Well, that's outstanding, man. Well, your Vikings are enjoying the New Year as well.
We'll always do it. All right, Coach, I got to come right out at you because everything I always hit you with, it's like you throwing your full court trap and press at people, all righty? Number one, you start the season, good Toledo team, tough basketball game. The Ohio University game, really, you got taken to the woodshed. Everybody's saying, my gosh, okay, people overreact on things. But then you play the Ohio State Buckeyes, and you're like, wait a second. You give them one heck of a basketball game. And here's what I know since that time, my friend. You sweep Fort Wayne, you sweep Youngstown State, you sweep IUPUI. To me, that is 6 in a row. Glad that you're home this weekend. Northern Kentucky comes in. Was that Ohio University game, I won't call it a wake-up call, but did it just show the young fellows that maybe they needed to work a little bit harder?
Well, each season gives you defining moments, and that is possibly one of ours as we continue to tread through and play as, the style of basketball we want to play. Mm-hmm. I look at it like this, and I've said it all along. Our first 2 or 3 games is going to be treated like exhibition games because our season, our practices have been cut so short that we wanted to have opportunities for kids to get to know who they were as we had newcomers on our roster, but also it gives us coaches and myself an opportunity to get to know the players. So each year you have defining moments, and each year you have developmental games that can help define who you are, not only as an individual but as a team. And those games help prepare us for our scheduling conference, and that's what we used it as.
Well, you're definitely showing that's the case. And by the way, want to remind people the Vikings are home this Friday and Saturday, 7 o'clock. And then the big questions for you, Coach. Are fans allowed back in the building yet?
Well, for that, we hadn't taken that step yet, as a conference. This isn't just as an institution.
Oh, okay, good.
Our Horizon League conference hadn't made that decision to move forward with fans at this moment in protection of the schedule and protection of, obviously, the growing numbers of COVID-19. But it's just one of those things where this year has, thrown curveballs, knuckleballs, sliders at us. And we're just here to, navigate it as best as possible, Munch. And part of the navigation is keeping our student athletes safe and getting through a season. And that's most important at this moment, even when it comes down to my friends, my families. The student athletes aren't in this by themselves. Our fans isn't in this by themselves. It's just overall protection of what we have going on.
I love what you're saying. Dennis Gates joining us, the head basketball coach at Cleveland State University. Coach, I kind of like the back-to-backs against teams. You got to play them anyway, and it is a different world right now, and let's hope things change with the vaccine and as things get back to a bit more normalcy. Your thoughts on playing teams back-to-back? You win the first one. Is it harder to win the second?
Munch, it is absolutely a gauntlet. The second game is one of the toughest things you could ever do. But it's one that's built off mental toughness. It's one that's built off, obviously personnel. You know each other from that game prior to. And sometimes you have a different motivation, factors that's built in. You don't have an opportunity to go play someone else and grow as a team and meet that team that you once played a month later. It's within 24 hours that you're re-tipping the basketball at that jump circle. And I tell you one thing, we're learning a lot about ourselves, and it's mostly a game where you compete against yourself because it's such a gauntlet going into that second evening.
I want to shout out too, and again, we could single out players, but we can talk about the team as a team, which to me is so important. But I love what I'm seeing with other folks in the media. Great story by Terry Pluto on Mr. Hodge. We've had the local kid, Mr. Woodrich, with stories there, and Coach.
Yeah.
But everybody else is contributing. Guys, last year we're saying, who the heck are these guys? Trey, Craig, my golly, their basketball is just unbelievable, my friend. You know that.
Hey, I'll tell you one thing, Munch. The strength of our team is in our numbers. And I've said that all along. We have guys, a different guy with the ability to step up and lead us any given night. And when we play that way, we're playing a style of basketball that's very unselfish. Our kids love each other. They love and they genuinely cheer for their teammates. And that's a culture that you want to have, but also a culture that's needed to win. The depth is hard to prepare for, and that's something that we've developed over this last season. And I am so proud of not only our newcomers and what they have done, but our returners and the growth that they've made amid a pandemic, knowing what our expectations are. Those guys still remained in the gym. They got better. They did things like they done while they were growing up in their driveways or wherever they could get better at while at home. They did it, and I'm so proud of what they have done thus far.
Coach, I've got to hit you with this, and talking to the folks in the athletic department, they're able to tell me what they're able to tell me. But something else amazing with the 6-0 record too, not just the contributions from so many like you had said, and we talked earlier. I'll get to in a second about having guys now. You kick the ball out to them, and you need a long ball. They're going to hit them for you. But so much of this is being done, which I consider to be, they're all great players, but this guy leader. Top guy in the team, Mr. Aljamain Eichelberger, coming back little by little.
Well, it's important that he is on that floor for us. He's a returning all-conference player. He's our most seasoned veteran in our program, and he gives us the experience that we needed, but also the balance attack. You can't play or win at a high level without a post presence. And obviously, as we integrate him back in, we're going to do it slowly. We're going to increase his minutes game by game. But we want to err on the side of safety. We don't want, just because he had that foot sprain, to just throw him in the fire right away. We don't want it to go backwards. We want to keep trending him in the right direction. And he's doing that. We increased his minutes from 12 or 13 minutes to 19 this past weekend. Mm-hmm. So he's doing a wonderful job. We miss him out there. And, boy, is it great to see him back. And he will give us a balanced attack, like I said, and team up with what Deontay Johnson has already been doing for us, which has been remarkable. But also it gives us, the leadership and the experience to add with the Chris Green and the Maborme Jacques as we move forward in this season.
Sir, something else that I just had mentioned it. All of a sudden now you need to kick the ball out because occasionally, as I like to say, you got to shoot from where they park the big cars, okay? All of a sudden, you got Mr. Hodge out there. You got Mr. Patton out there. You have Mr. Woodrich out there. I've seen Trey be able to drain some from there, too. And Craig, Alec. So all of a sudden, you've got guys that, wait a minute. You know what? Fine. Let them stand out there by themselves. This year, you've got guys that you can count on to hit that outside shot.
Yeah, I credit that to my staff. They've done a remarkable job of identifying young men that can help us on and off the court, young men that love competing in the classroom just as much as they compete on the court. I'm proud of the fact that our team GPA is a 3.3 this past semester, Munch, but also it's symbolic to the skill set that we've increased in our program. That's shooting. Alec Oglesby, obviously, he's on his way to having a big night, and there's no doubt about it. We're all itching for that to happen. Jason Woodrich, we saw what he was able to do for us coming off the bench. Demoy Hodge, Torrey Patton. But the growth in our team also came with the improvement of Trey Gomillion. Like I said before, the young man plays both sides of the basketball, and what he brings to the table is well documented, and we are definitely proud of all our young men, but we're definitely proud of our staff as well, as they've identified and recruited some unbelievable young men to join our program.
Coach, I say this with utmost humbleness and humility, but last year I think I mentioned to you, seeing Trey out on the court, I closed my eyes. That's me. I'm living vicariously through him, especially when I see him dive for a ball and comes up and there's some skin missing from his leg. It's like, yes, that gets you all fired up, you know?
Man, without a doubt. I'll tell you one thing. Our guys give of themselves before they ask for anything or ask to be given anything to. And that mentality is one of great possibilities. And I just appreciate the servant leadership that we approach the game of basketball with, the unselfishness we approach the game of basketball with, but also the toughness that we play with. There's no doubt we call loose balls fumbles. Call it what you want it. We're nowhere not on the gridiron, but that's the mentality that our guys have. Some of them are former football players. You look at Demetrius Terry, former football player. Trey Gomillion, former football player. We have guys that have that mentality, and we're looking forward to all that they're continuing to do in their growth and development. There's no doubt about it. To win this conference, to win a championship, we call it, our goal is to, cut down nets and hold up trophies. And we've talked about it from day one, but that comes with the sacrifice, Munch. There's no gain in that without sacrifice, and our guys are approaching the game the right way. They sacrifice themselves. They sacrifice their time. And obviously to get to this point thus far while COVID is going on, there's nothing but sacrifices. They didn't go home during the holidays. Their families didn't see their children. But to be able to cheer from afar, those are sacrifices that we all have to continue to make as we navigate this territory.
Coach Dennis Gates, the head basketball coach at Cleveland State University, joining Munch on Sports. Coach, look at Mr. Hodge. Now, you could say at first people had no idea who he was. Well, now they know who he is, but he's still successful, and he's the kind of young man, I watch him play, he will always be successful. Did he kind of sneak up on people at first?
Well, DeMoy is a very unselfish person, and those first two games that he played of his college career, he wanted to not only feel himself out, but his teammates out. It's one of those growth, processes that take place. He's not a naturally selfish scorer. He gets more joy out of stealing the basketball, blocking shots, and getting assists than he does scoring. And for us, we need him to continue to lead us and in that category, but also the scoring ability is documented. No one, in my retrospect, and I'm a young guy, Munch, so it may have happened before, but in their third college game in Division I, scores 46 points. Now, it doesn't mean anything to DeMoy if we didn't win that game. But to win that game and do that, it means something to his teammates. It means something to him. And I think it's one of those galvanizing moments that allows us to continue the momentum that we have because it's something that his teammates have seen for the first time. But it was an amazing performance, and the best is yet to come.
Now, he's from the Virgin Islands. Did you check on him when we got that foot of snow?
Hey, I'll tell you one thing. Watching him walk, I think I sat in my car just so I can watch him and Franklin Penn Jr. walk from their apartment over to the gym or over to the COVID testing in amazement. And I just crack jokes with them, man. And you know what? They embrace it. They love it. And most importantly, they love that Cleveland feels like home. It's one of those things where our fans aren't there, but they can feel the presence. I'm not sure if you knew after that last game, Munch, our guys went in the stands to give high fives to cardboard cutouts. How about that?
No, I did. That's something great to know. And let them know, too, once we get back to normalcy. And we had talked about this, that they'll be out in the community and people will recognize them and they'll know what they're doing. And I know all these young men want to be a part of the community and help others' lives better off, too.
Yeah, without a doubt. The presence alone means something to these young people as we're playing in a different environment because they just have each other at this moment. But it's something symbolic. It's something about the presence of our cardboard cutout. So I want to thank all the fans that, purchased those and made their presence felt. Please go out there and purchase more, because it is a difference for these young people. It meant something to them to go out there and appreciate you guys. So if you're out there, don't hesitate to support, but also don't hesitate to support us as we, build on to the momentum that we have by having, for a limited time, our season tickets for next season on sale. Also, so it's a fantastic time, Munch, and we just hope that our fans that's out there watching on TV feel a part of it, because they are.
Well, we'll keep them a part of it, too, right here, my friend. You're welcome anytime. We'll get you back soon. Go get them this weekend, Dennis, and have a great one, and welcome to 2021, my friend.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, and go Vikes, Munch. I appreciate you, buddy.